Well, good day. Good to be back. I haven't done one of these in a while. I'm out in a different location today. I don't believe I've ever filmed anything from here before. And I'll show you here in just a few minutes where I'm at. I'll just say this is a place where I come a lot of times and do walking. This is not out in the, although you see trees behind me here, and there's ones in front of me here too that you can't see right now. But this is actually real close to town. Where I live at here in Rome, Georgia, and so I'll show a little bit more of it here in a minute. But I wanted to talk a little bit today on something that just a couple of what I'd say is a couple of attitudes. So we say things of a couple of virtues that I think are very commendable, and I want to talk just on this is. You could say it's like, put it this way, how should we react toward other people? And what are we commanded, what are we expected to do in relation to other people? And there's a couple of different scenarios I was thinking of on this. And one of them is what to do to other people when we're able to help them. They're in need of help and we're capable of helping them. And then the reverse of the scenario is sort of the reverse, what to do when we're the one in need of help, whatever type of help that may be, and the person helps us. So those are both what should be our attitude, what should be our responses on that. And on the one side, when someone is in need of help, that we what should be our response on that. And that would be, you can call it different things, generosity, just being of helps, whatever. But I'm going to use the word kindness, is to show kindness towards those who are in need of your help. It may be, kind of what we usually think about in that is somebody who's in need of food or shelter or money, whatever it may be. And certainly that's a type of help. There's other types as well. Maybe if somebody's feeling sad and you're there to lend a shoulder to cry on, so to speak, or you're there to cheer the person up. Whatever, the person just needs a friend. So you're there to be a friend to the person. So it may be physical needs, like I said before, food or money, shelter, whatever it may be, or it may be emotional needs or spiritual needs. And they're not all mutually exclusive. They all oftentimes go together. But it's to be there, being able to help when you can. And there's several verses in the Bible that speak of this, but there's one that's in the book of Proverbs, Proverbs chapter 19. And verse 17, it says this: He that hath pity on the poor lendeth to the Lord, and that which he hath given will he pay him again. So keeping that, reading what that says, he that hath pity or has mercy, as some versions say, upon the poor lendeth to the Lord. That is, if you give to the poor, you're not just giving to the poor, you're actually lending to the Lord. It doesn't say you give to the Lord. It says you lend to the Lord. Now, we can recognize the distinction. If I give you something, I'm not expecting you to pay it back. That's a gift. But a loan is something I'm expecting you to pay back. So if you give to the poor, according to the book of Proverbs here, you're actually lending to the Lord. And then it says in the latter part of the verse, what you give will he repay. So you're lending to the Lord, and it will be repaid. Now that doesn't mean if you give $100 to the poor, poor person that needs it, that you're going to get $100 back necessarily. But the rewards are something far greater. When the Bible speaks of, Jesus speaks of this in the Sermon on the Mount, of laying up treasures in heaven, not here on earth where things corrupt and where they can be stolen, but you're laying them up where they can never be corrupted, they can never be decayed, they can never rust, and they can't be stolen. In other words, the reward is far greater, the reward in heaven, where it will be repaid. Now that, of course, brings up how we should think on that as well. To think that what we give here is going to be repaid, obviously later. But obviously to know that obviously tells us that the things of this earth we know are passing, are fading, and the importance of them are not that great. They're great here on earth, obviously, and important, but of no real eternal value, except what you do with them for the Lord Himself, and that includes being of help to those who find themselves in need. And this was something that was found all through the Scripture, that people of Israel were commanded to do it to one another. And 1 John, I won't turn to it, but you can read it. It's in the 3rd chapter, if I'm not mistaken. He says, how if a man says he loves God, but he doesn't love his brother, he says, how does the love of God dwell in him? The idea is if you see and he also says in there, if you see someone in need. In fact, I said I wasn't going to turn to it, but I will, so I want to make sure I quote it correctly. It's 1 John chapter 3, and I believe it's verse 17 is where I'm thinking about it. He says, but whoso has this world's good, and seeth his brother have need, and shutteth up his bowels of compassion from him, how dwelleth the love of God in him? In other words, if you have the goods of this world, and you have a brother who's in need, and you don't help him out, it says, how does the love of God dwell in you? The idea is it don't. It doesn't. More English correct there. But it doesn't dwell in you. In other words, if you don't love your brother, and he also says there, if you don't love your brother who you can see, how can you love God who you don't see? The idea is that's the real test of it. So we're told this throughout the Scriptures about the idea of showing kindness to those who are in need. Now, what about on the other side? When we're the ones who are in need, we can't really show kindness. We don't have anything to do it with, at least not monetary value, physical needs. But what if someone else meets those physical needs that we have? Or same thing, emotional, spiritual, whatever. What should be our response then? Well, if kindness is to be our response on one end, thankfulness should be our response on the other end. When someone helps us, show gratitude. Someone helps you when you're in need, be thankful. Don't have the sense of entitlement that you are entitled to whatever the person did for you. But the idea is this person didn't have to do that for you, but they chose to do so. And be thankful to them. Be grateful. But above all, understand God may be using them to help you. So by being thankful to them, just like you're lending to the poor, or you give to the poor, you're lending to the Lord. Whenever you thank someone else, in reality you're thanking the person behind it, because the Lord was behind it, using this person to help you out. So be thankful primarily to God, but do be thankful to those as well. Be grateful to those who show compassion to you, who show generosity to you. A good example of that is in the 17th chapter of Luke, the 10 lepers that Jesus heals. And one of them returns to give thanks to him. Only one. He said, I healed 10, but where are the other 9? He said, only the stranger, because he was a Samaritan, he wasn't a Jew. But he returned and gave thanks to Jesus. And Jesus commends him for what he did. In fact, he says he was a man of faith. He says, your faith has made you well. So it demonstrates our gratitude towards those who help us, ultimately, obviously, to the Lord Jesus Christ himself, but also just to the person who, through him, God may have used to help us out, to be grateful to those. And, sort of have that where you're always, thankful to those who help you, and be grateful, to those who help you, but also be willing to help those. And sometimes people on the other side that you help out, They may not be grateful. They may be like the other 9 lepers that Jesus healed, and of this terrible disease that it was. It was made you a social outcast, and they don't even return to give thanks. They aren't. They don't, seemingly at least, are not grateful. They're sort of indifferent. But nonetheless, Jesus still healed them. So even though people may not be grateful, we still are to be kind toward them. And so that's what I wanted to say today. Just a couple thoughts on a couple of things: being kind toward those who are in need, and being grateful towards those who help you when you're in need. Both things are very commendable attitudes, obviously, and things that we're commanded to do in the Bible. Things that we are told to do throughout, to be kind to those who are in need, and be grateful when we find ourselves in need and someone helps us. So, just a couple of things I wanted to share with you today. Had on my mind. I don't know. You can hear the airplane just flying up above me here. I won't be able to get him. He's flying behind the trees. I don't know if you can see it there, but he's flying over through there. Now, right over there, there's a squirrel. There's a lot of squirrels on this little walkway out here. He's going to hide behind that tree there. So maybe, no, there he comes. There he comes out. I see a lot of squirrels out here. I see a lot of birds too around here. So that's you want to come see the squirrels, and birds, this is a good place to come. In fact, I see another one running down here somewhere. Oh, there's a bird flying around. Now, right over, what I was going to say is, if I can, you may see that right there. Now, let me just walk over there and show it. Because it doesn't, back out here. There's a big water here, a big reservoir, lake of sorts. But on the other side over there, let's see here. Those are lights. Over there, it's a light pole. See it going all the way down there. I don't know if you might be able to see a little bit of it over here. If the trees weren't in the way here on both sides, you could see it better, but that's a baseball stadium. That's where our local team, I believe they're now called the Rome Emperors. They were the Rome Braves. They're the Atlanta Braves single A team in the minor league baseball, and they play in that stadium over there. And then here on the other side, and this is one of these little paths I walk on. There's, see, not as many people out here today. At least they're not coming by right now. But I walk here a good bit. Usually see a lot of people out walking their dogs. Over here on the other side, there's where I was sitting at. You can see right here, see the river. Now, if I stay here long enough, I'd see some birds too. Like I just saw one fly down on the riverside here. But this is the Oostanala River, and it will flow this way, the way you see it is on this on the video here. It flows from right to left, and it's not very fast right now, but it flows that way. And eventually it runs in with the Etowah River that form the Coosa River. That's Rome's kind of, in fact, there's even some places here that mention 3 rivers, just like in Pittsburgh. But here, there's much smaller rivers, but we have those 3. One day maybe I'll do some filming where they actually meet at just 2 or 3 miles from here. I see a bird flying over. I think I saw some hawks earlier. I'm not sure if that's what they were, but there were some big birds out flying around. But at any rate, that's where I'm at here today, and just wanted to do a little video on that topic that I was discussing there about kindness and thankfulness, and just show you another place where I come and walk at. Alrighty, well, hope everybody's having a good day and having a blessed day, and I will talk with you later.